Getting some big news right now. Amid talks with US negotiators in India, President Donald Trump wishes Prime Minister a very happy birthday. Prime Minister Modi is in fact responded to that tweet as well, saying, "Thank you, my friend President Trump, for your phone call and warm greetings on my 75th birthday. Like you, I'm also fully committed to taking India-US comprehensive and global partnership to new heights. We support your initiatives towards a peaceful resolution of the Ukraine conflict." That's Prime Minister's response to the birthday phone call he received from US President Donald Trump. Wishes pouring in for the Indian Prime Minister, who got dialed by Donald Trump, extending birthday wishes to Prime Minister Modi, who turns 75. Also remember, this phone call comes at a time where things have been rather frosty between the two countries, but this does indicate that while things may look a little iffy between the two nations right now, there is still that camaraderie. Geeta, if you could talk us through, I was just telling our viewers, while things may look frosty at the moment between the two nations, this phone call is also very symbolic in many ways and does take one in the direction that things could be resolved between the two countries. But give us more about that phone call.
Well, at the end of the day, it is a leadership level conversation and engagement that really turns things around when things are sour or on the downturn. This time around, we're looking at President Trump calling Prime Minister Modi or wishing Prime Minister Modi on his 75th birthday. But it also comes at a crucial time when there's immense pressure that US is mounting on those countries that are importing oil from Russia. Again, at a time when trade talks have almost begun with a special representative on trade negotiations in India, and he set the tone and tenor for talks between the two sides on concluding a bilateral trade agreement. And the talks were indeed quite positive. So on such a positive note, we're looking at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 75th birthday being wished by none other than President of the United States of America. Also, both sides agreeing to, in terms of conversation, that there needs to be an end to the conflict. Remember, it is not American President Donald Trump's statement or position of the United States of America. Even when Biden administration was pumping all those arms and ammunitions into Ukraine, it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who first said that it is that there can only be resolution and peace through dialogue and diplomacy and not through conflict and war. And he's the first to have said that this is not an era of war. So keeping that in mind, the Prime Minister only reiterating what India's position or what his position has been, that it indeed is not an era of war and that there needs to be a stop of violence, and India is determined and committed towards that. Having said that, India is not going to leave the side of Russia, a friend, a partner who stood by India through thick and thin, and that also was made very clear to the Americans. Not just India making it clear. In fact, there was enough pressure that America was mounting on G7, European Union, NATO, but none of them have actually come out and sanctioned India or punished India in a way that America wants. So the idea is peace. The conversation has begun. Leaders have engaged. That was really important because that certainly gives an indication that both leaders and both countries want conversation. But then we're talking about President Trump over here. He's been nice. He's wished Prime Minister Modi. There were conversations about and rumors or reports about how he's been wanting Prime Minister Modi to come to the phone. But the conversation has happened. Prime Minister Modi quickly put out a post talking about wanting peace and that there is commitment there. But again, we'll have to wait and see how President Trump reacts, not just to his conversation with Prime Minister Modi, but further on, what he says about the conversation, or for that matter, what his actions are going to be when it comes to India.
Absolutely. That's very rightly put over there by you, Geeta. Thanks so much for bringing us all those details.